What's up, guys? Swift here, breaking down everything from day one of the Colts-Bears scrimmage in Indy. Let's get right into it. The big news of the day was DeMarcus Walker and Nate Davis, two of our biggest free agent signings, both returning to practice in full pads and getting some work against the Colts. Getting to see Nate Davis, DeMarcus Walker, and Yannick Ngakoue all in full pads was a treat. Walker and Davis were both limited in team drills, and Rasheem Green and Jatari Carter worked with the first team at times. The guys missing from practice yesterday were Tremaine Edmonds, Jaquan Brisker, Terrell Smith, Dylan Cole, and I also didn't see Tyler Scott at all yesterday. You will hear a lot of people talking about whether or not the Bears or the Colts won the day. Before I get into detail on my takeaways, I wanted to address that for just a second. First, practice was split into two fields, with the Bears offense going against the Colts defense on one field and the Colts offense taking on the Bears defense on the other field. It's nearly impossible for anyone to say who won the day. There was just too much going on, and on top of that, I would say more than half of the plays for both teams would have ended differently in a live game. Pass rushers have to pull up and stop and put their hands in the air when they should have gotten a sack. But this doesn't usually stop the play unless it's very, very clear that it's a sack. What I will say is both teams had some great moments, and it was a very physical and intense practice. Eddie Jackson did get shaken up later in practice. He was hit by Michael Pittman. He stayed on the sideline the remainder of practice and looked okay to me, but he did not return to practice after that play. Let's hope that Ejax is okay. Okay, let's talk about the offense first. For all the people talking about air yards, Justin Fields was airing it out all night long. This was not a day for screen passes and checkdowns. Fields was consistently launching it downfield and had quite a few nice connections. He started it out in one-on-one drills, connecting on a beautiful one-handed TD pass to DJ Moore, who was covered by Kenny Moore on the play. DJ Moore won nearly every single rep in one-on-ones. Dante Pettis also returned to practice. He looked very good in the one-on-ones as well. Darnell Mooney made some plays, and his route running looked really crisp. He had an awesome double move for a deep touchdown. Also, Nasimba Webster and Darius Fountain both got long TDs from Justin Fields during the 1v1 period. The momentum of the offense continued into the 7-on-7 drills, where Fields was perfect. He spread the ball around, hitting DJ, EQ, Mooney, Tunyon, Komet, and even got Dante Pettis involved. However, things quickly turned for the negative when the second-team offense took the field. PJ Walker did not have a great day, not just in team drills, but even in the warm-ups, where Luke Getsy was seen yelling at him and correcting his footwork after PJ was missing the nets by a wide margin. He did throw a beautiful deep ball to Velus Jones later in practice and hit Isaiah Ford and Darius Fountain for TDs, so at least PJ ended the day on a good note. Meanwhile, Tyson Bagent had some really nice plays on the day. A few of them in particular caught my eye. He hit Isaiah Ford and Darius Fountain for bombs down the field. I still think people are overreacting just a little bit on PJ Walker. He has the skills to be a solid backup quarterback. He's also familiar with DJ Moore and has had some really good moments over the last few years. That being said, Tyson Bagent continues to look really impressive, and at this point, I think we should keep him as our QB3 over Nathan Peterman, who doesn't really offer anything. No matter what happens with PJ Walker, though, I don't think Bagent is quite ready for the number 2 job yet. But he is outplaying PJ Walker right now. I expect PJ to bounce back, though. Now let's talk about the skill position players. Khalil Herbert looks jacked up. I got a chance to stand literally a foot away from him for a while after practice while he was signing autographs, and he is just jacked. He looks noticeably bigger than he did last year, in my opinion, and he had a great practice today, showcasing burst and speed and breaking a few long runs. Deontay Foreman and Roschon Johnson also made a few nice plays. This running back room is just loaded. At wide receiver, DJ Moore is just different. The separation he creates is insane. He's so quick and fluid and just the real deal. I honestly believe he's the smoothest route runner I've ever seen in a Bears uniform. I think the entire wide receiver room actually had a great day on the whole. Chase Claypool didn't participate, but every other receiver got in on the action. Isaiah Ford, Nasimba Webster, and Darius Fountain were making plays on the second and third team. Meanwhile, Velus Jones had his best practice at camp, catching multiple TDs and laying out for a deep ball. He also fielded punts cleanly. Darnell Mooney had a solid day as well. He looks like he's very, very close to 100%. He did get outplayed on one pass that was intercepted, but he made several plays on the day overall. Cole Kmet also had a pass go off his hands that was intercepted. He didn't really stand out today, but Kmet has had a great camp. Robert Tonyan also made some nice plays. Moving on to the offensive line, I spent a ton of time watching these guys. I also tried to watch different things than what I was recording and managed to get really close to the offensive line for a while. It was awesome to see Nate Davis in pads. He rotated with Jatari for most of the day, and honestly, they both looked really good, and I didn't notice much of a difference in play depending on who was out there. At left tackle, Braxton Jones had some great battles with Kwity Paye. He did give up one sack, but he also pancaked him once, and he held his own for quite a few bull rushes that I saw. Good job, Braxton. He seems to be elevating his game so far. Meanwhile, Tevin Jenkins just looks insane. He dominated a couple of different Colts defensive tackles today and paved the way for some big Khalil Herbert runs. Cody Whitehair seemed pretty active as well, but I admittedly didn't pay as close of attention to him. And then Darnell Wright. He did get beat a couple of times, but overall he looked awesome to me. He stonewalled quite a few different pass rushers and looked very athletic in the open field. Colts players on a few different occasions seemed to give up if they ran into Darnell Wright at the second level. Safeties and linebackers just did not want any part of Big Darnell yesterday. Absolutely love to see it. Our first team offensive line overall looks better than anything I've seen in years. I love it. The second team O-line had some ups and downs. I keep looking for Doug Kramer to impress me, and I just have not seen it yet. I've seen a couple of flashes, but he just ends up on the ground way too often. There were multiple plays where immediately after he snaps the ball, he is just swallowed up by a defensive tackle and at the bottom of a pile. Now, to be fair, this is Kramer's first taste of NFL action, and he's coming back from missing his entire rookie season with an injury, so it's still way too soon to write him off, but I'm definitely looking for some more flashes from Kramer. I'll be keeping an eye on him in Saturday's game action. Larry Borum is having a great camp and had another great practice. He was at left tackle and right tackles at times and is clearly outperforming Aviante Collins if you ask me. Collins had a false start in the red zone and was beaten badly on a few occasions. The third team guy that stood out to me the most was Gabe Hoy, the undrafted free agent guard from Pitt. He mauled a couple defenders yesterday and seemed to hold his own for the most part. Kellen Diesch was up and down. I was watching him closely on a few plays, and the size is there, but his technique still needs some work. Speaking of technique though, Dieter Iceland's technique does look a little bit better, and he had some impressive blocks as well. I'm interested to see where Dieter plays this Saturday. Now let's move on to the defensive side of the ball. The two players who stood out to me most on defense were Kyler Gordon and Tyreek Stevenson. Both players were loud and chirpy, and they were letting the Colts know about it. Kyler got through on a blitz and would have sacked Anthony Richardson. He also broke up a couple of plays and looked smooth in coverage all day long. Meanwhile, Tyreek Stevenson had some nice battles with Josh Downs and Michael Pittman. He's not backing down from NFL receivers. I think working against DJ Moore all camp has really helped him take his game to the next level. At this point, I'm ready to name Tyreek Stevenson a starter. I think Jalen Johnson and Tyreek Stevenson are the outside guys, and Kyler Gordon is going to work strictly from the nickel this year. Someone asked me who is on the field when the Bears go to base defense in just two corners. They've actually rotated, and Kyler Gordon stayed on the field in two corner sets at times, but for the most part he's worked strictly as a nickelback. Another guy who had a really good day was Elijah Hicks. He was filling in for Jaquan Brisker and took all the reps for the first team. He was communicating really well with Eddie Jackson, and I really liked what I saw from him last night. Josh Downs did catch a touchdown near him, but Elijah also broke up a couple of Anthony Richardson passes as well. Elijah seems to have locked up that third safety job, and I, for one, love it. This secondary has the makings of one of the best in the entire league when fully healthy. But what about the defensive line? Yesterday was the first time we got to see Yannick Ngakoue and DeMarcus Walker on the field together, and the reps I saw that they were both on the field was just trouble for Anthony Richardson. DeMarcus Walker rotated for most of the day. Trevis Gibson, Rasheem Green, D-Rob, and Terrell Lewis all got a few reps as well. Trevis Gibson looks to be continuing the momentum he picked up from Saturday's game. He was rushing with the same relentless pursuit and energy that he had in last Saturday's game. Gibson again had multiple pressures and would have recorded a couple of sacks. He's responded really well since he was put at the bottom of the depth chart, and suddenly our defensive end position has went from one of our biggest weaknesses to a position where Poles is going to have to make some really tough cuts. D-Rob and Rasheem Green both also made plays. Terrell Lewis won some reps, and even undrafted guys Jalen Harris and DeAnthony Jones were also seen pressuring quarterbacks today. I watched Jalen Harris and DeAnthony Jones quite a bit. Jones seemed to be more powerful. His bull rush and energy was noticeable. Harris seems to be quicker off the line and better at finesse moves. Both guys are good enough to make the roster, but with how good Trevis Gibson is playing, this is going to be tough on Ryan Poles. The defensive line on a whole had a great day against the Colts. Gervon Dexter exploded off the line a few times and blew up the pocket. He also had a few reps where his pad level was too high and he got pushed back. Dexter has elite potential, but he's still learning and getting better. I also saw him practice the cross chop moves a few times today. I cannot wait until he masters that. He's young and full of potential. I just love that he's learning pass rushing moves from Ngakoue. I also have a lot of footage that I haven't even really been able to break down yet. Been extremely busy the last 24 hours. It's been insanely hectic. We got another practice that should be starting around the time this video releases, and we have preseason action Saturday night. I can't wait. I have a ton more breakdowns coming. Any questions you guys have from practice, let me know and I'll try to get them in tomorrow's breakdown if I missed them today. Stay tuned. Please remember to hit that like button for me. And until next time, bear down.
Be fair, come over here.
Be fair, come over.
What's up, Swift? It's Kyler Gordon. Just want to do a quick shout out to Swift Sports Network with all the latest news on the Bears. Keep doing your thing. Just hope you have a good day, man, and I just want to say bear down.